Let's try that again. Good morning, AG. Okay. Now we're awake at home, we're awake. That's caffeine and take money. I am this is my first I'm super excited to be around in the room with it. Other first-time AUG folks, am I first time folks first time AUG? Third, maybe four? And so, welcome to AUG. First time together in 2019. It's going to be more fun. Next 48 hours we have a lot of knowledge sharing, networking. I'm going to try to go over some of the things that Tony just kind of emphasized, and a couple things he said. Before I do that, the pictures are really responsible. There's been a lot of work to go on. So they can see something you want to see. So I would emphasize that because of the amount of
let me see the login. For the, yeah, let me to join them.
Those vendors all are capital, essentially a opportunity and not a solution. All council, Brock, Michael, Brianna, Tony, Lolly, especially from working especially now, for my folks, we'll give these guys a brief introduction. Then I'll turn over them to talk about economic industry and some topics that we're passionate about here at Veritas. Chad Biggins, right here, Chad, nice to meet you. Senior Manager, Veritas, speaking on industry trends with a focus around market volatility. Dave Smith is online. We'll conversate. Senior Manager with Veritas, Data Analytics Solutions. And then last but not least, there's no way. It's Director, Advanced Analytics, and Trace Surveillance. We encourage you guys to
never mind. Thank you.
Can they hear anything?
If you don't ask good questions, or you don't ask any questions,
This was actually
so we're
audio will be connected here.
Hey, I'm Chad Davis. I have worked at Veritas County today 4.5 months. The majority of my career has been in trading space. When I say that, don't mention the functional people. I'm the user. I have been the trader, entering deals in the system, and I've been the risk manager,
analyzing the book, trying to figure out how to get the information I need out of the system. Today we're going to talk about volatility, near and dear to all of our hearts. Whether you're a trader, you're a risk manager, you're supporting IT and getting yelled at by someone because the book's moving in some way, shape, or form, or the market's moving, and I need to know now what's going to happen. So we're going to do a little history lesson. How many of you live in Houston? Just a few of you. Okay, interesting, nice, welcome. Here we are. It's not as hot as it typically is in May because it's raining all the time, but it's a little humid, sticky. So, rewind, February of 21. We here in Houston and kind of in the Midwest had Canada come in for a visit for a week. And we had no idea what to do. Like, our city shut down. It gets cold. We had ice too, but it gets cold and we're just like, don't go to work. And what happened is infrastructure froze. Gas prices in Oklahoma peaked out at $1,200 in MMBTU. Power prices in ERCOT hit the market cap 4 days at a time. Companies made lots of money. Some companies lost lots of money. What we found out is you can win in that market and lose at the same time. If you are on the right side of that, fantastic. But if you can't get paid, not so fantastic. So we'll fast forward a little bit. We hit summer of 22, and the Russian-Ukraine conflict kicks in. And gas supply to Europe starts decreasing, and fear of a lack of gas supply increases to the extent that LNG prices in the European markets are hitting between $40 and $60 an MMBTU, and Henry Hub futures here in the US are trending upwards and following just out of fear. And the interesting part about that is we could only export about 13 BCF worth of gas a day in LNG terms. But the market flew up past that. Didn't matter. People were scared and they started buying. So what I want to talk about today is, okay, what's going to be next? What we do know is there will be another event. I wish I knew what that event was. We could all share it. We could all get rich. Yay, good for us, but I don't. But I want to talk about something that has a bill that recently passed through Congress, the Inflation Reduction Act, which interestingly enough is more of an energy bill than it is anything related to capital markets or interest rates or.
The bill carves out about $369 billion in investment tax credits and production tax credits for renewable energy products and really generation. So some of that, you have cars and home appliances. I personally think a lot of it is going to be solar generation. We'll have some wind, but solar is more reliable. So can you flip to that next? Oh, there you are. It's you. Good job, whoever's running this slide. So in solar markets, there's already this phenomenon that someone has described as the duck curve. Because if you look at those wonderful colored lines, I don't see a duck. I see some kind of owl, but I don't really see a duck. I think maybe today we can just have a contest to see who can name the curve. Something slightly better than a duck curve. But the idea is this. Okay, that's a day in the life of the electricity market. So at the beginning of that, we're all asleep. Very little power being consumed. Then you see we wake up, and that's when it starts moving upwards. Okay, that's the tail of the duck, right? Then we start going to work. So what happens is we turn off the lights at home. We may raise the thermostat a bit. We have to work. So we're burning in aggregate less electricity than we're waking up. Not sure what. So it flattens out, and then we come home and it hits the peak. The end of the duck, and then we start going to bed, and then there's a bill. Okay. Makes sense? If you can read that, what you'll see is in 2019, the net load on the system, which is net load means, and this is specific to California, because California has the most solar generation
Of any state. Net load, if I have solar panels on my house, it's the amount of energy that I consume in the day. But as a solar generator, depending upon how large my solar panels are, I may actually produce energy. And I send that to the grid. And what's happened in California is you've had so much solar generation added to the market, and a lot of that in residential and maybe some commercial areas, is that the net load has decreased. And you see 21, 22, well, with the Inflation Reduction Act encouraging more solar generation, you end up with a scenario where prices follow that net load. And we've had scenarios where because there's so much solar generation going on in the day, during the day, obviously when the sun's up, that electricity prices go negative, or they're at least getting close to zero. Now that we have encouraged more investment in renewable energy, and like I said, solar generation, there's a great potential that we're going to increase volatility in the hourly and 15-minute intervals in the power market. The question is, how are we as industry participants, market participants, whether you're a trader, you're a risk manager, you're supporting, our ETRMs carry all kinds of data. We have, every trading portfolio has a weakness. What we need to do is figure out the best ways to shock, stress, scenario analysis to find those weaknesses. Go back to the ERCOT market, where folks didn't quite realize some of their weaknesses was on the credit side. Yes, black swan events can happen. Am I running scenarios that not just tell me if I'm going to make or lose money, but are we going to hit scenarios where my counterparties are going to go out of business? Man, someone's got really solid credit. They paid over and over and over again. I never have to worry about it until some event happens. And so Dave Smith, who's following me, should technology work, Dave has a lot of knowledge on setting up structure of pooling data so it becomes easily accessible. And we, as industry participants, can run the scenarios that we need to run easily so we can find the weaknesses in our portfolios, because everybody has them. It's just a matter of knowing, do we know what they are before something happens? That's where all of us in this room can support our companies. So, Dave, are you around?
Yes, sir. Hey, can you hear me?
I'm looking at them, they're looking at me.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Dave, you can call me on my cell, I can hold it here.
Is he speaking?
Chad, can you hear me?
Is he speaking?
You know, technology really needs it. Oh, we have theme music. Can you see him?
Hey guys, can you hear me?
There you go. Wait. Say that again, Dave.
That was me.
That was you?
Yeah.
Joel?
Sorry. Somebody's gonna put my mic off before I get us in trouble.
You're about to come up here and be Dave.
I know, no, we don't want that. That we don't want.
Anybody got any good jokes?
Hey, should I? Chad, can you hear me?
What do you call, you've heard this, James Bond in a bathtub? Give you some time. It's going to be worth it. Anybody? Come on. Get ready. So good. Bubble 07. Get it? People don't appreciate good humor. See, I like Laffy Taffy jokes, so there. How we doing, team? In back, scrambling rapidly, tapping on keyboard. Going, it should work.
You and then I can figure out.
Can you hear me?
I think Reg is gonna, you wanna go, or you want, how do you want to do this? Okay. Reg's tired of me talking, like, Chad, just sit down.
Oh, that's great. Very natural.
Hey, Reg, can you hear me?
I don't have.
but you better have some good questions. Some good questions. Some good questions.
When I was playing my wedding, I bounced for a couple months.
Yeah, there's lots of bits in there. Yeah, keep those for ourselves. I think Rich is about to. Yeah.
That was Dave Smith right there. So, I'm going to go ahead and do his part with Dave on a daily basis. So again, I'm the director at Veritas in charge of data and software solutions. And we've seen, I'm going to go on slides, kind of do my own thing a little bit. But we've seen data increase like crazy. And a lot of other organizations are using data many different ways. So Dave and I were trying to figure out how can we use modern data architecture in commodity industry, in the commodity market. We are inundated with data, trade data, price data, ISO data from different ISOs and whatnot, bulletin board data, all this coming in. And the traditional approach of a data warehouse is just not working anymore. You know, we need infinite storage. And so you may say, well, infinite storage, I can't afford that. But you can leverage the cloud to do that. And so we've been looking at a lot of different new data architectures, such as the data mesh, and how companies can take that data, analyze that data, have data owners that own that data, who has access to that data, and be able to provide data access to different teams. And the teams can then take that data, once it's cleaned up in different zones, and then utilize that data for their purposes. We go to the next slide. And so Dave did a small case study and looking at credit. And so he was working with an ETRM, a company that had multiple ETRM systems. And how do you join two systems of data to report off of it? So he helped this company to come up with an economical model around credit and how to bring data from different systems, different commodities into one platform. And so I think as we move on with technology increases, and as we have to see the cloud, whether it's Azure, AWS, or even Google, as prices start to come down, we're going to start utilizing some of these data platforms. Dave and I have open certified in the Azure Synapse analysis. We have some people on the team that works with the AWS Glue and some of their analytical tools. But we have to start moving towards this realm. And we'll see why in a moment, as I kind of transition into some of the regulatory trends and how that can be used with data analysis. And so we've seen that work since 2007 has maybe almost $2 billion worth of fines in the natural gas and electricity industry, these markets. And so over 2/3 of that has just been on power alone, with about 380 million in the natural gas sector. So we see that they're really looking at power and making sure that people are being honest in their trading activity. And with power, there's so many different ways. You got a day-ahead market, you got real-time market, you got different ISOs trading, CRRs, ARs, just all these different combinations of trades that you can do in these markets. So FERC is really truly looking at these markets. And so we saw last year that FERC opened up about 21 new investigations. 11 of those investigations were settled for about $57.4 million. And so, and one of the things that FERC told these people, hey, you got to pay the fine, but we truly want you guys to enhance your surveillance programs. It's not good enough, it's not adequate. We need to really enhance these programs. And so some people may see FERC as this kind of compliance overload. But I believe he truly want to partner with us to ensure that we have free and open markets. And so if you look at last year's annual report on enforcement, FERC lays out 5 characteristics / tenets on a good surveillance program. And so I think those 5, kind of give you 3 here, but they want an organization to be proactive. So what does that mean? And so they want an organization to take measures or steps to anticipate and prevent potential issues that may arise. So in order for someone to anticipate, they got to be abreast of what's going on. They want education. Are you learning? Are you seeing what we're doing? Are you asking questions? So I think the days are gone where we can kind of sit back, make trades, and then hope and pray. That's not working. So FERC really wants people to take a proactive stance on this. 2, they want the compliance to be ingrained in a company's DNA. Now, what does that mean? That means that compliance is seen as an essential part of a company's culture, their values, and their operations. So they really want this to be ingrained in the DNA. They also want organizations from top-level executives to the frontline employees to really see compliance as important and have that understanding and also be committed to upholding the highest standards as possible. And so we see these trends happening. The third tenet that they really look for is that they want compliance organizations to have to be culturally transparent and guidance seeking. So to be culturally transparent means that companies are encouraging employees to really raise concerns, have open communication, to really talk about the issues, so that these compliance teams can identify and address issues before they become harmful. And then let's talk about guidance seeking. FERC has laid out and said, hey, we encourage you guys to speak to us, seek advice, seek guidance from us when needed. And so they also have created channels for people to reach out with questions and concerns about potential violations. And so we see that over the past 5 years, it's been over 691 self-reports, meaning that someone says, hey, this trades, these don't look good, but here's some data, here's what we're going through, what do you think? And so a lot of us are afraid to do that because we're afraid we're going to get that slap on the hand. But FERC is saying no. And you'd be amazed that over 691 self-reports, the vast majority of those reports ended with no further enforcement action. Because again, they want to be your partner. They're not trying to catch you. Now if you're doing wrong, they're going to try to catch you, but they want you to partner with them. And so we had a client over the past year that has really taken hold of these tenets and said, hey, we want to really implement this at our company. And so the best way to implement some of these tenets is through a system. And so we have developed a system for one of our clients that enables them to monitor cross-market trades and out-of-payment activity. And so in order to bring this all together, we had to use modern data architecture, and we had to use advanced data analytics. And so this doesn't work otherwise. You start working with some of the data. Well, I need this data. I got to call the ISO. I don't have these nodes. I don't have these zones. But what if you had a tool to bring all that data into somewhat of an infinite storage capacity, and then use those tools to put them in the right format, clean them up, that they become the right canonical model, and then perform your data analysis, your statistical inference, your machine learning techniques to bring this about. And so we have given this organization more confidence in dealing with FERC, and they have a better relationship now. They even have reached out to FERC, hey, this doesn't look right, based on the alerts we've given them. And FERC has said, okay, I think that's okay, just do this and do that. And that's the case. But this was all done and all possible because of the new data modernization architecture in analytics.
Okay, That's it. Questions? I think we have about 5 or 6 minutes. I'm looking at Tiffany to wave us down. What kind of questions do you guys have? Or points of clarification?
Don't be afraid.
Yeah, the Reds thing was just a joke. Nothing. Oh, we're gonna see it for 5 minutes in awkward silence then. Nobody wants that. Come on.
Somebody's got to have some questions. Can you repeat the question so they can hear
He
it?
said, why does the company have 2 e-term systems? And you'd be surprised, we've had, well, we've seen organizations have 7 or 8. It just depends. They start with one system that has one commodity, and they decide to move to another system to incorporate the commodity. It doesn't seem to work out, so then they have 2. And we need to get into this market. We'll bring this system. We heard this system does natural gas very well, so let's bring in this e-term system. And so I think I'm like you. One system to them all, but we haven't really seen that in practice. We see maybe 1 or 2 companies.
What I've seen is acquisitions. So you acquire a different system, or even the same with a different version. And then it really comes down to cost benefit. And after the integration becomes, I guess, painful to some folks. And I'm like, you know what, it works. Let's just leave it alone until we're forced to do something. And then I think we've all been there, like, whoa, now we have to, and that's a lot. That's a big lift at that point.
Yeah, and so we're starting to see these e-term systems being used as just point systems in someone's data architecture. And so you'll have 8 systems there, literally some companies have that, and report up in this canonical trade model that then goes out to the rest of the company.
Regarding compliance, can you be more specific in some examples at first? Because it's such a broad term. When we talk about, well, let's get our technologies up, but some of the commodity markets are also restricted by the infrastructure. And our infrastructure, you can say technologically doesn't go as fast as some of the companies around it. So just what has been your experience in that one?
Yeah, so if you look at in the power market, virtual trades, we know that virtual trades can impact financial. And particularly, they can, I can't say too much, they can impact FTRs. And so anything, you can have a physical price, physical trade, once it settles, and that's based on volume, the last couple minutes trading, that sets price for the next day, that sets financial trades. So some people have figured out, hey, well, in the last 2 minutes, I'm going to just, go market, above market, all these trades, I want the price to be higher. Or I'm going to sell it cheap, set the price lower. Because they have another financial deal on the other side, they're going to make a lot on that trade. So they'll take a physical loss, knowing that their financial side will be much higher. So Ford is really, really, truly looking out for that. If you talk about automatic, so different ISOs will pay you for different services and whatnot. But you can, there's different manipulation techniques that you can kind of game the system. So if you're, at the beginning of the day, a bunch of volume towards, let's say, an interface with DC top, then you take a lot of that trading on, and you may be able to take a payment that really, truly, you shouldn't be able to take if you just did normal trading operations. But people are trying to game the system in that regard.
Good question over here.
Hi. To follow up on the compliance question, given your experience, do you see the current industry standard and market trend leaning more towards let's build the compliance checks within Allegro or other ATM systems itself, or going to a third-party vendor to integrate something?
Yeah, I see it going to a third-party vendor to integrate. I think some companies have gone that route already. I'm not sure if the e-term vendors when it comes to getting into compliance in that regards. Because unless there's rules that everyone agrees upon, I think it's going to be hard to kind of tweak that criteria unless they make it more of a rules-based engine that you can go in and tweak as you go and configure. But I mean, if someone wanted to do that, that'd be nice.
One of the points that you guys made earlier was the fact that data is still becoming more and more granular. There's more and more data involved in the power markets every day. Are there things, certainly the ability to handle 5-minute data was one of the big adds of the product, but as markets become more and more volatile and we have to handle more and more data inside Horizon, are there improvements that you guys would want to see inside of the product in terms of handling data volumes for power? And I'll just throw out an example for example, we need to run correlations very more frequently versus running them, once or twice a month. That's a very, heavy lift on a data set. Are there things that you guys work with the product and how I would like to see in terms of management of data problems?
Well, I see something I talked with Michael Grandison about many years ago. How do we look at all these new technologies and incorporate that into Allegro? And I think there needs to be some innovation, maybe a committee on innovation. But there's different database systems out there, time series database, that you can deal with granular data. And then as soon as data comes in, maybe does evaluation, does a check, almost having like a real-time engine. But then, hey, here's some alerts here, or hey, your risk looks like this, new trade coming in. So I'm going to give you more real-time feel or a near real-time feel. But I think that's something that we may want to revisit later on as far as how do we incorporate newer technologies into Allegro to be able to utilize scalability and compute power.
Good, awesome.
I'll just make one comment. Every company I've worked at, and every client has run into a scenario where suddenly I need intraday valuation. And I think that's really where you're going. Oh, do I need to be louder? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They can't hear more.
Oh, great. Forgot about that.
Okay, so every company I've worked at, or every company I've supported has run into a scenario where they need intraday valuation. And the amount of data required to run a true valuation is enormous. So like Rich was saying, we have to figure out where that tipping point is of, is my ETRM going to need my or is it going to perform specific functions, and then I need that data to flow into different modules. You create a whole, for lack of better, I'm not a technology guy, but a system that is modular, and I have a data module, and then I have various engines, and I have reporting modules where raw data comes out, and then I manipulate the data, and that's what we have to figure out. Is what does that total system look like, and what do we want it to look like? I mean, all of you in the room probably have a pretty good idea, and if you don't, you know the right questions to ask.
I'm doing hour-based
Online. But yeah, I forgot about.
I was saying, when we upgraded to Horizon last year, and we're running an intraday evaluation every hour. We're doing a lot more bar modeling, all that stuff. Horizon is super fast, but like we keep asking it to do more and more and more. So it's like almost like, I think Allegro and Horizon is the tool for it, but it's like I almost need to have like a T-1 or something so I can have two of the exact same environments just computing constantly. So yeah.
Yeah. So Dave Smith and I were discussing this last week. How do we incorporate some of these compute instances models in AWS and Azure into Allegro? So when you have a big raw running or evaluation running, you can go offload that to these systems, compute them very fast, and ingest it back into the system for reporting. I think we have to move towards that model.
Good morning, everyone.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Just